Welcome to the Midnight List. Today's entry is the Honda Beat from 1991. I'm actually pretty excited about this one because we're going to be comparing the factory variant versus the K20 engine swap. We're going to jump right into the flying lap here because this is the factory version and it is going to take its time. Little history on the Honda Beat. It's part of a Japanese automobile segment known as K cars. It's KEI. They had a tax incentive for a while in Japan for owning these smaller vehicles, similar to what you see today with electric vehicles. The time it was released, to be qualified as a K car, the engine needed to be under 660 cc's with a body smaller than 11 feet long and less than 5 feet wide, rounding up. By comparison, a first generation Miata is actually 13 feet long and 5.5 feet wide with a 1600 cc motor. We've already reviewed one K car on the channel, which was the Suzuki Cappuccino. Both cars are technically mid-engine vehicles, with the Suzuki having the engine in front of the driver. The Honda Beat has the motor behind the driver, which is what people more commonly think of when they refer to a mid-engine car. This version of the car with the 3-cylinder stock motor is a pretty tame vehicle. Once you do swap it over to the Civic Type R motor, which is where the K20 comes from, it becomes a whole different animal. I have both cars running the same suspension setup. It works on the 2-liter, so this car, it's overkill. It didn't need to be set up as well as it is, but if it works on the K-swap car, it's even better for this one. We're coming up here on the final stretch. I'll go over a little bit more on the suspension, but I'll have a screenshot of it at the end of the video. It looks like the factory motor ended up with 2 minutes, 32 seconds, .422. The performance points on the K-swapped car is actually lower than the factory motor. And you can see the torque curve is very flat on the K-swapped car as well. Let's hop into the swapped version and see how this thing holds up. At the end of this lap, I want to show you how the car transitioned from me driving to the AI, which might be part of the reason that Gran Turismo lowered the performance points on this thing. The front suspension is pretty stiff, where the rear is soft in relation to it. It makes the car a little bit more forgiving in the corners. And I actually learned a lot about setting up the rear diff in getting this car to corner. If your vehicle is snapping into oversteer when you lift off the throttle, you may need to raise the braking sensitivity on the diff. Acceleration sensitivity is more about the handling when putting your foot on the throttle, and the initial torque seems to adjust both at once. If you've gone too far, it'll cause the car to start pushing in the corners instead of oversteering. So that'll kind of give you a clue to back it off again. One of the reasons I was excited to review this car is because it's a really good choice for grinding the Tokyo 600, and you can get wins with it pretty easily. You can pretty easily get into second place by the first corner without risking impacting any of the other vehicles. I would still rate this behind the rotary swapped Cappuccino, but if you have a K20 and no 13B, the Beat is still an excellent choice. If the roulette tickets had only given me one K-swap engine, the Beat is where I would put it. having both the cappuccino and the beet with the engine swaps. I still prefer the cappuccino, but the beet is a nice way to add a little bit of variety into the daily grind. All right, we're coming up to the final stretch. 202, 285. So that puts it right in front of the Porsche and right behind the new Corolla. You can see here when the AI took over, the car just completely lost control. I've never seen that happen before. And I've had a tendency to pull the handbrake, but that was all on the AI. As promised, here's a quick shot of the setup. You can pause it and copy it if you like. I appreciate you guys watching the videos, and if you would, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and we will catch you in the next one. Thank you, and have a great night.